نحاول نعمل يوم تضامني مع الثورة السودانية، بإنه إحنا نحاول نوصل صوتنا للحكومة الكندية ونوريهم الحاصل شنو في السودان من قمع للمتظاهرين. وبإحنا نجمع اليوم ده عايزين نوصل صوتنا للحكومة الكندية، وفي نفس الوقت ندعم الجماعة اللي هنا المتضامنين بإنه نعمل لهم عشاء ثوري عبارة عن سندوتشات وجبنات الجماعة. ومعانا الأخت نجلاء برضه.
السلام عليكم، مرحبا. إن شاء الله نترحم على يعني شهدائنا في السودان، ونحن اليوم ده بغرض دعم أهلنا في السودان، وعايزين نعكس للمجتمع المدني الحاصل علينا في بلادنا، وفي نفس الوقت نتضامن معاهم، وعاملين يعني زي فند ريزنج لدعم الشهداء في السودان وأسرهم والمعتقلين. ونتمنى يعني إسقاط النظام في أسرع وقت، النظام الجاسم على صدورنا طيلة 30 عام، وإن شاء الله جاري إسقاط النظام وتسقط بس.
عز الدين عبد الرحمن كجور، تشكيلي من مدينة لندن انتاريو كندا. الفكرة كلها نبعث بعد قيام الثورة في السودان، ونحن كتشكيل فجهزنا مجموعة مدينة لندن، كل السكان في مدينة لندن هنا في إقامة دعم أو احتفال، ممكن نسميه احتفال في نفس الوقت احتفال للمستقبل، في إقامة مهرجان ممكن نسميه فيه شعر وفيه أغاني ثورية لدعم الثورة من كل النواحي، وأهم النواحي في الوقت الحالي الدعم المادي. ونقول لأي واحد موجود في السودان ولكل سوداني أن إحنا خلف كل سوداني أصيل مواطن حقيقي لحبه للوطن. كل الجموع في مدينة لندن اليوم مجتمعة في صالة اللي هو للمشاركة في دعم الثورة ماديا وسماع بعض الأشعار الثورية. معنا بشرى الفاضل ومعنا زين حسين، وأيضا معنا معمر، وحيكون معنا دكتور حمزة سليمان. الدكتور حمزة سليمان وهو قد لحن العلم الوطني المستقبلي بعد زوال النظام، وسوف نستمع للحن ولأول مرة إن شاء الله في منتصف أو الجزء الأخير من الفيديو، وحيكون أول ناس في الحكومة أو في الدولة السودانية الجديدة نستمع لهذا اللحن من الدكتور حمزة سليمان في مدينة لندن أونتاريو. تسقط بس، تسقط بس.
I would like to say thank you to the London Sudanese community for standing in solidarity because you understand what people are suffering, and you have the courage to stand up and say that you want change and that you demand change, and asking the government here in Canada to be part of the instrument of change, because collectively we can beat down dictators, we can end suffering, and that's what we're here for, to end suffering and to make every place in the world a safe place for children and families where they can grow, be prosperous, and simply live in peace. So I am very pleased to be here, and I would say to the government of North Sudan, the al-Bashir government, that human rights atrocities are unacceptable in every corner of this world, and there will come a time when the leadership of North Sudan will pay the price for committing these crimes, these awful crimes against their fellow human beings.
Thank you.
The Irene Messrs is a member of the parliament, and she is here in solidarity with us, and we are standing here for supporting our people in Sudan who were demonstrating against the prevailing government, and this government which has committed a lot of atrocities in Sudan, and nowadays people were being killed and injured by the government for the simple reason that they are demonstrating for freedom, for democracy, for their rights. But the government is facing the demonstrators with live ammunition, with tear gas, which is prohibited by the international community. And Aaron is here to support our solidarity with our people in Sudan. حضرت معنا اليوم السيدة إيرين ماسيسوس، وهي عضوة البرلمان الكندي، وهي تقف معنا اليوم وقفة تضامنية مع أخواننا في السودان، وستوصل هذه الرسالة للبرلمان الكندي حتى يستطيع البرلمان أن يتخذ قراراً ضد حكومة السودان التي تقتل الأبرياء في مظاهرات سلمية. وهي إيرين هي كما عودتنا دائما أنها تقف مع الجالية السودانية في كل مشاكلها، ومن ضمن هذه المشاكل ما يحصل في السودان. وقد قمنا بمقابلتها من سابق في مكتبها، فوقفت معنا وقفة قوية وأرسلت رسالة للبرلمان الكندي تطالب فيه البرلمان بالتدخل لحماية المواطنين العزل الذين يقومون بالمظاهرات السلمية، يطالبون بالحرية، يطالبون بالعدل، يطالبون بإلغاء القوانين المقيدة للحريات. ولكن الحكومة قامت بمقابلتهم بالسلاح الحي، فقتلت الكثير منهم وجرحت الكثير واعتقلت الكثيرين، حتى أن سجون النظام قد فاضت بالذين تم اعتقالهم. فبدأت الثورة لا زالت قائمة منذ ديسمبر وحتى اليوم، وهي قائمة إلى أن يسقط هذا النظام القمعي وتسقط بس.
السلام عليكم ورحمة الله تعالى وبركاته. Honorable Aaron Mason, the MB of Canadian Parliament, it is our pleasure to have you today for expressing support and solidarity to the rebels of our nation in Sudan, with the great hope to convey our concern to the Canadian government. Dear guests, ladies and gentlemen, we Sudanese Canadian activists in the city of London, Ontario, Canada, are arranging this event to bring Canadian attention to the brutal, barbaric campaigns by the President Omar al-Bashir regime, security forces and militia against peaceful demonstrations in Sudan throughout the country, and using internationally prohibited weapons, tear gas, unprecedented by bloody campaign and war in different regions of the country. The current aggressive campaign against our people in several villages and cities of Sudan is a continuation of a bloody atrocity by the regime and is immensely disturbing. We are here to show that our Canadian representatives are behind the legal right of peaceful demonstration and legitimate demands of our people in Sudan for freedoms and to stop killings of innocent civilians. With reference to the recent statement by the various international organizations dealing with human rights, namely Human Rights Watch Africa and Amnesty International, Sudan government has recently or has long history of refusal to cooperate with the international body on human rights. For many years, it has refused to allow the United Nations to establish a stand-alone human rights office in the country, shut down the United Nations and African Union Human Rights Office in Khartoum, and expelled the key United Nations officer, and began a campaign to terminate the mandate of United Nations and African Union mission in Darfur. It has long blocked peacekeepers, humanitarian aid organizations from moving freely and has steadily refused to cooperate with the International Criminal Court, ICC, on cases pending against President Umar al-Bashir and others from his government for atrocity in Darfur. The international human rights community has not been paying much enough attention to the mass atrocities and human suffering in different regions in Sudan. The international community has moral obligations and responsibility to protect innocent civilians and support peaceful demonstration in Sudan. As you are aware, the brutal and ruthless regime in Sudan has recently launched its killing machines against unarmed and peaceful protesters who seek freedoms, ease of their harsh living conditions, and to restore the stability, democracy, and human rights, and a better life for generations to come. The government of Sudan has taken tough measures which are disastrous to the nation. As you may have learned, the recent economic measures which were undertaken by the government of President Umar al-Bashir apparently affected the daily lives and the ability of basic needs. This measure, together with political situation and social crisis, eventually led to spontaneous protests in many cities and villages across the country as from December 2018. It is not surprising that the government respond to the peaceful demonstrations by using expensive force, resulting in several fatalities and deaths of more than 50 people, life-threatening shot, numerous injuries, and 816 of protesters arrested and aggressively interrogated, tortured, and beaten to death, including opposition leaders, political activists, doctors, lawyers, judges, university professors, journalists, innocent civilians from civil sectors. Many endorse physical and psychological torture, including extended periods of solitary confinement, and we Sudanese Canadian activists are organizing this day of support to the peaceful demonstration in Sudan to express our deep concern about Sudan regime of President Umar al-Bashir and the grave situation facing the whole nation of Sudan and the stability of the region at large. It is unfortunate the phrases that appear and reported in the context of the public speech in the media by the President Umar al-Bashir to the security forces and the police officer, including his last meeting with the top police officer. He instructed them to use extensive forces against protesters. However, we are fully confident that the Sudanese revolt will succeed to bring down the regime and live the life that we deserve. Our confidence comes from the fact that the most of protesters are young and persistent. Meanwhile, with solidarity with the Sudanese revolts, urge the Canadian government and the international community to immediately take roles and measures and start acting to bring those responsible for the use of extensive forces against civilians to international justice. Take a strong stance against the killings of innocent civilians and unlawful detentions of other activists. Impose measures to ensure that Sudanese regimes and its security forces abide by Sudanese internal constitutions of 2005, which grant freedom of peaceful demonstration. Demand immediate release of arrest of civilians and other detained political leaders. Impose measures to monitor Sudanese government adherence to constitutions and human rights law and regulations. pressure the Sudanese government to refrain from using militia group live ammunition and excessive use of force against peaceful protesters. Support the right of Sudanese people to assembly, expression, and right to protest the government political economics policy without fear of intimidation. Thank you, the Sudanese Canadian activists.
Who were being so adversely affected because they saw the violence, they were growing up with violence, and were victims of that violence. So we talked, and we also talked about the fact that the Government of Canada sent a delegation of two to Sudan in January of 2018. That was Senator Raynell Andrechuk and Liberal MP Robert Oliphant. And the concern expressed at that time by the delegation was that it was only 2 days. How could you go somewhere and take only 2 days and understand absolutely what was happening to the people in the country? There was also concern about the report that was presented to Parliament. So I wrote to the Prime Minister and Senator Andrechuk and MP Oliphant to express those concerns, to convey those concerns about the nature of that report. And both those parliamentarians did understand, and they stressed that they had made recommendations to the Prime Minister that focused on humanitarian aid, replacing the chargé d'affaires and making Canada's chargé d'affaires a full ambassador, and promoting mechanisms so that Canada could actually help in terms of the security of people and the goal of peace. And those are very, very important goals, and it is up to the rest of Parliament to make sure that those objectives are followed by this government. So we continue as New Democrats to be very concerned about the regime of Omar al-Bashir. As we know, and as I said, he has killed doctors, students, academics, opposition leaders indiscriminately in order to hold on to his power. And we have to and must demand that our government understand that, because these human rights atrocities, the lack of basic rights, freedom of the press, freedom to assemble, freedom of religion, freedom to express what is truly a human need, and that is for the freedom to live in dignity. That must be heard. We have seen in the video that the regime arrests, detains, tortures any citizen who criticizes the government and its policies. The death toll, according to recent reports, is more than 100 people. And that is simply unacceptable. And so Canada must, as I said, support the absolute right of people to demonstrate. We need to provide more support to the African Union and the efforts of the United Nations. And we need to enforce, absolutely enforce the arms embargo, because al-Bashir is getting weapons from somewhere, and we have to be vigilant about where those weapons are coming from. As you know, Canada is in the process of signing the International Arms Trade Treaty, and there is some reluctance to follow the dictates of that treaty. We in this community must say to the government, if you sign that treaty, when you sign that treaty, you must make sure that these weapons do not reach the hands of this dictator. We need to demand the release of political prisoners and ensure that the riches that were described by the video in Sudan reach all the people, and that all of the people of Sudan enjoy and benefit from those riches. So I have, as I said, taken very much to heart the letter that I received and will present it. This situation, the brutality, concerns all of us. Anytime there are these kinds of crimes against people, we have to stand up. So I salute your courage. It's very important that you have this day and that you reach out and speak on behalf of the people in Sudan, your family, your friends, because I know everyone in this room has been touched by the crimes of the dictator. So the Democrats, our leader Jagmeet Singh, we have been listening, and we call on the President, Omar al-Bashir, and the government of Sudan to respect human rights and international law. And in the next few days, the NDP International Affairs critic, Hélène Ravarière, is going to again approach the Prime Minister and the Minister of Foreign Affairs to once again put pressure on them to protect human rights in Sudan and to be a strong voice and bring Bashir to justice. We stand with you in solidarity, and I think the flag behind me says it all. Canada and Sudan in this fight for freedom and liberty. Never become complacent about the suffering of our brothers and sisters. Samia, Samia.
Ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests, brothers and sisters, assalamu alaikum. I'm honored and privileged to be with you today to show my support to our brothers and sisters in Sudan who are revolting against the dictatorship who've been governing Sudan for the last 30 years. It seems the trend in the Middle East goes from country to country, from Lebanon to Syria to Iraq to Libya to Egypt to Yemen to everywhere. It seems the dictatorship taken over for many years, taking the wealth of the people and take her abroad, invested outside the country. And the people, despite the wealth they have, the natural wealth they have, they live in a poverty, lack of a job, infrastructure almost does not exist, and people suffering from many different diseases, and they have no hope. That's why I think the Sudanese and other countries revolting to get back that hope, to have a chance to live in their own country with respect and dignity, and also to apply what your title said, freedom, peace, and justice. I had the privilege and honor to meet a lot of Sudanese across the planet, whether in London, Ontario, or the Emirates, or Lebanon. I know the Sudanese are people, peaceful people, love life, educated, have a lot of talented people among themselves. But the regime stayed in the chances and the future of those people who are trying to build their country and their nation. So that's why I believe the Sudanese today, here in London, Ontario, and under the activist Canadian activist community supporters get together to address their issues and talking to us, to other people, about the dilemma, about the atrocity, about the suffering of the Sudanese people who are there, revolting and going on the street every day, asking for the right, for freedom and peace and justice. Brother and sister, ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you, I came from a country called Lebanon, probably you know that. So every single day, every single week, I call Lebanon, I talk to people there. So Lebanon is no different than Sudan and then Libya and Iraq. Despite the big, massive deposit of oil and gas in Lebanon, despite the wealthy people in Lebanon, despite all the wealth they have, the government, because of corruption, because, as you know, we live in a tribal society, close to dictatorship. You cannot talk, you cannot ask from the same family the continuation of power. And every single time when they form a government, same name, same people, the elderly leave, their kids and their kids' kids come to power. Therefore, you see the garbage on the street of Lebanon. They see the people, they have no hope. People, every single time, asking how we can get away, how we can leave, how we can go anywhere to start a new life. So that's why I think Sudanese now in Sudan revolting. Despite the wealth of Sudan. I know Sudan, it's the best and the most richest country in the Middle East, in the Arabic countries. Despite that, despite the wealth, the gold and the oil and agriculture and the cattle and everything, Sudanese people living in poverty. And we saw from the video how the infrastructure deteriorating because no investment in infrastructure, because the leadership take the money invested outside the Sudan. So today I'm here to show my support to our brother and sister in Sudan, and with hope, with a continuation of the protest, a peaceful protest. As I said, Silmiya, inshallah, the Sudanese people realize their dream and be able to change the government and restore a democratic elected government in Sudan. And before I leave, all the countries supporting the regime to stop supporting them. And all the international community and United Nations, all the free societies and democratic society on the planet put a lot of pressure to apply democracy and freedom for the Sudanese people. Hopefully they can live with peace and dignity for many years to come. And thank you again.
Peace be upon you all. Assalamu alaikum and peace be upon you all. Let me at the beginning thank our honorable member of parliament, Madam Irene Mercedes, all guests, and my fellow Sudanese Canadians. I would like my fellow Sudanese Canadians to think for a moment. If Brian Mulroney, who was the Prime Minister of Canada in 1984, is still a Prime Minister. Imagine 30 years, and he would be still a Prime Minister, although he was elected. But now we have a government that was not elected. It's a government that came by force, and that's sitting on our heads for 30 years. They came in 1989, and they changed the democratic regime of Sadiq al-Mahdi. By that time, he was the Prime Minister. And then they started by the name of Islam, which they have nothing to do with Islam. Because if you kill somebody, Islam says you kill the whole nation. These people are killing everybody. When they came to power, they banned all political parties. They arrested all leaders. And then the damage started. Before they come to power, our education is free. Now, nobody can afford to take his kid to university. They have made private universities for their own gain. They have damaged the system, the educational system.
That's in education. In health, doctor strikes many times because of the deterioration of hospitals. Medication was free before they come. Now people die lacking medication. People die lacking attention because the medical facilities were damaged. They were not renewed. Hospitals, they lack even beds. What else they did? They took our freedom. And that's the most important part. People in Sudan are not free to express themselves. People in Sudan are not free to demonstrate. At these demonstrations now, they face the demonstrations with force, brutal killings. And what about killings? In Darfur, they killed 250,000. Then the president said, no, we didn't kill 250,000. We killed only 10,000. He is now indicted by the International Criminal Court. And that's the role I want our government to follow up with. I want our government to follow up with arresting Omar al-Bashir for the International Court, to face justice, to face what he has done, not to the people of Darfur, but to the people of the Nuba Mountains, the people in the east, the people everywhere, the people in the Blue Nile, the people in Kordofan, and now the protesters. Many were killed, so many. The number is exceeding, but still the revolution is going on. Tasgut best. Tasgut best. We are not looking now for just freedom of expression. We are looking for toppling the regime. We don't want them. We look for toppling them. And after toppling them, we need to send them to trials for what they have committed. Thank you so much.
Good evening, everyone. It is a true pleasure to be here amongst your community today. It is wonderful to see so many people here. Thank you so much for the invitation. I'm always very pleased to come and see all the different communities that make up our wonderful city. And to see all the children here just warms my heart. And I know that you're a strong community and you have every reason to be strong. Thank you so much. I would like to start off by thanking you for the invitation to join you all today. I would also like to acknowledge the important work that your community does in London to raise awareness about the conflict in Sudan. Your efforts have not gone unnoticed, and that's the message I want to give to you today. They are making a difference. We are hearing your message. Of course, as you know, the situation in Sudan is very unfortunate, and that's an understatement. It is critical to address the prevailing insecurity in the country. Canada's efforts aim to encourage peace building, respect for human rights, and improvement in the security situation. And these are all so important to you and your family members who are there. We are helping the people of Sudan to meet their basic human needs through humanitarian assistance, peacekeeping, and diplomatic efforts. I know more is always possible though. Our humanitarian assistance is crucial because it is helping provide emergency food and nutrition, water and sanitation, healthcare, protection services, and shelter for affected populations. Canada has a proud history of international leadership. In the International Development Minister's mandate letter, one of her top priorities, and this is a priority that came right from the Prime Minister, is to refocus Canada's development assistance on helping the most vulnerable and supporting fragile states like Sudan. I strongly believe that Canada's continued involvement as a responsible global partner will lead to greater security, prosperity, and peace for those most affected and vulnerable in Sudan and around the world. Thank you again for the invitation. I have had a chance to taste some of your wonderful food. I wish you all the best, and we'll be all praying for a peaceful outcome. Thank you very much.
شكرا لك يا صديق وشكرا لك يا